afternoon, students, teachers, parents, and administrators. Thank you for coming. Please remove all of your hats and welcome to Pacific Hills High School 2016 Presidential Campaign Town Hall meeting. We're going to hear from 4 different candidates running for president in next week's important presidential election. You'll also have an opportunity to vote in your classes on who you think should be president of the United States. I will be asking the candidates of each party to answer important questions. They will have 2 minutes to respond to my first question. We will then take questions from the audience for each candidate. I will then ask a second question where candidates will have 1 minute to respond. After the candidates have answered my questions in a lot of time, they will take questions from the audience. We ask that you remain respectful of all participants in today's event. And I now ask the candidates to introduce themselves to the audience.
Gary Johnson, Libertarian Party.
Hi, my name is Jill Stein, representing the Green Party.
All right.
William Clinton of the Democratic Party.
My name is Alex Wells, and I represent the Republican Party.
Candidates, your first question. Our audience today is mostly young Americans. Many here today are concerned about their future. Why should young Americans trust you with their future concerns and vote for you?
Well, a lot of you must be wondering why I'm running for president. I'm running for you and this country's future, to better our future generations to come. First of all, let me tell you why I am the only qualified candidate up here to be running for president. Jill Stein has never won any local, state, or federal election in her lifetime. Hillary Clinton. You delete 33,000 classified emails, tell me if you should be allowed to run for president. And Donald Trump has fired thousands and thousands and thousands of employees, including citizens of New Jersey. Atlantic City, he has closed down his casinos, making thousands lose their jobs for temporary amounts of time. If I'm president, we're going to create permanent jobs. We're going to cut taxes. We are going to allow you, the citizens of the United States, to take the power back from a too big federal government. We're going to do this by legalizing marijuana. We're going to do this by cutting taxes. We're going to do this by taking your educational system and putting it back into the state's hands. Because the state knows what's best for you and your education. None of these candidates do. I don't know what's best for your education. The state and local levels know what's best for you. You should not be getting the same education as someone in Nebraska. Someone in Nebraska should be learning at their own level because they do not compare to New Jersey, who is a top 3 school in the United States. If we do this, we will also be eliminating park testing and Common Core, which has watered down our educational system. We must do this, and if you vote me, Gary Johnson of the Libertarian Party, we will do this, and we will become the best country in the world.
We will now take up to 2 questions for Gary Johnson. Does anyone have any questions?
How do you plan? How do you plan on expanding educational opportunities for students everywhere, including college opportunities to go to college?
So is this a question about education, public education, or is this a question about college? All right, well, to touch upon college briefly, how I will make college cheaper and more affordable for you, citizens of the United States, is I'm going to get rid of student loans handed out by the government. That is interest rates up to 13% on those loans. By eliminating them, students and colleges will have to drive down the cost of college expenses, which will make it cheaper and more affordable for you, everyday citizens, to go to college. To speak about education, public education. Can you please repeat the part about the public education? What?
How do you plan on expanding opportunities for everyone in the public school system?
Well, the answer is simple. Opportunities in the public education system are everywhere. However, Common Core has gotten rid of this. Common Core does not allow every student an equal opportunity because someone in New Jersey has more of an opportunity to major in business than a student does in Nebraska. A student in Nebraska should have just as much opportunity, but their state and local governments will control that.
Friends,
We can take another question from Gary Johnson on this time. Derek.
You see to reduce the taxes. How much are you going to reduce that by? Because if there's no taxes, the government won't have money for the army or other things.
Well, I never said I would get rid of taxes. I said, excuse me. I said that I would lower taxes and I would make it more affordable for you because you will put more money back into your pockets. So what I would do is that I would actually cut out income tax entirely and I would replace it with a 23% consumption tax. Some of you may think 23% is a high tax number, but your income tax is thousands and thousands of dollars. Just right now, your parents are paying your income tax. Income tax goes towards school and education systems. What we will do is that if we are bringing it back to state and local government, that 23% consumption tax will be paid through every purchase that you make. You will be paying 23%. Just like the gas tax that was just implemented, it will be on every single thing that you buy. But we will also be saving a lot more money because we will not be spending that at the end of every year.
friends, delegates, and fellow Americans. I'm humbled to be speaking before you today as I seek your vote, which will lead me into the office as the President of the United States. For those of you who do not know much about me, my name is Jill Stein, and I am the Green Party presidential nominee. I have become aware of the links tying together toxic exposures and illnesses and began to fight for a healthier environment as your human right. The future success of the United States of America relies on you, the young generation presented here today. Under my education plan, you will be presented with the opportunity to attend public college for free, which will be sustainable by working with the Federal Reserve. It is not only possible, it is essential. The Federal Reserve bailed out Wall Street at $17 trillion, and student debt in comparison is $1.3 trillion. By eliminating the debt that is burdening these young Americans, success will be more attainable and their dreams will be within reach. I want to increase the federal funding within our public schools, allowing for more rigorous teacher evaluation. I want to eliminate the Common Core and institute a new innovative plan that is better fit for your education. I want to restore the music, arts, and recreational programs within our public schools, allowing for individual development in all ways possible. Now, I would like to switch gears and touch upon the drug epidemic that is hitting our nation. Drug addiction should not be criminalized, but should primarily be treated as a health issue. In addition, I want to legalize marijuana. Our current approach to the regulation of marijuana is a failure which has resulted in a massive black market, creating violence in our communities and pouring millions of dollars each year into the pockets of criminal supply networks. Legalizing marijuana will eliminate this black market and bring sales under a legal regulatory form. Now, the money generated from these sales will be put back into the economy. From a doctor's perspective, the legalization of marijuana will have immense benefits to those who are both physically or mentally ill. The changes I hope to put in effect by being elected President of the United States will transform the nation to reject the lesser evil for the greater good. Thank you.
Josine, your first question is from Sophia Lowry. Sophia, please stand up.
By doubling the minimum wage, it essentially doubles the operating costs of the business. So in order for that business to continue to make the profits that they make, wouldn't that business either have to cut workers, double the price of the products to cover those operating costs?
Thank you. And to answer your question, I want to start by addressing that the top 1% of the businesses are those who are benefiting from the corrupt system we have in place. What we need to do is we need to instigate a new plan that is going to bring the wealth to the lower class and then the middle. We need to spread this wealth and create equal pay. Now, Henry Ford, one of the most successful American businessmen in history, believes in allowing for his employees to have this equal pay and for the distribution of wealth to be spread upon the middle and lower class. Thank you.
One more question for Josine from the audience.
So, if you legalize marijuana, then marijuana will become commercialized, and these small farmers who are farming marijuana legally will not only lose their jobs, but their way of life. How do you address the situation?
Well, what we want to do is we want to impose a small tax on the marijuana that is sold. So I don't see how they will be losing their jobs, but they too will be benefiting from this. Also, if the farmers have an issue with employment, I am proposing millions of new jobs through my green plan, which you'll hear about later, so they can invest in a new job there as well. Thank you.
There's no one sitting here behind me who has done more for education, for young people, and for the future of America than I have. Let me ask you all a question. How many of you are planning on attending college? Raise your hand. That's quite a few of you. However, college debt and tuition is far too costly. Under my presidency, households who make less than $250,000 a year will receive heavy financial aid, and those who make less than $85,000 a year will be able to attend a 4-year in-state public college for free. For example, the County College Morris. Now, let's talk about your lives in terms of surviving off of your own money. As of right now, the current minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. That's good for high schoolers who want to make a couple extra bucks, but it's not good enough for families who are trying to live off of this money. I want to raise the minimum wage to $12 an hour, and that can only have beneficial effects on our nation and on you personally. The biggest issue here, however, is our safety. I'm going to put restrictions on gun control that do not, and I repeat, do not infringe upon your Second Amendment right. I'm going to help end racial profiling from law enforcement officials and bring communities and law enforcement together to make sure that we develop proper guidelines on their uses of force. And ISIS. I'm going to take them out where they are strongest. I will take out ISIS's strongholds in Syria and Iraq and work with our allies in the Middle East to tear down their global terror networks. You are all the future of this country, and I want to make sure that your lives are as wonderful as possible. I will make living in this economy affordable and keep every single person in here safe. You will all have the ability to rise up in this country because this is called the land of opportunity for a reason.
We can now take up to 2 questions for Hillary Clinton from the audience.
Are you aware that when minimum wage prices go up, the cost of living goes up too? So it'll be harder to pay for an apartment?
I want to raise the minimum wage to $12 an hour. However, my opponents, Jill Stein, propose raising it to $16.50. Yes, I understand the pros and cons of raising the minimum wage. However, I believe that with my proposal, the pros outweigh the cons, and that will allow families to support themselves, people to support themselves, and allow our economy to grow.
We can take another question from Hillary Clinton.
What are you planning on taking out ISIS?
Well, I said that in my speech, but I'll say it again. I'm going to take out their strongholds in Syria and Iraq, they're the strongest, and continue to work with our allies to, again, tear down the global terror networks.
Ow.
Please no follow-up questions.
Oh, sorry.
Good afternoon, fellow Americans. My name is Donald J. Trump, and I'm running to be your next president. The people sitting behind me today are simply incompetent and are unfit to hold the office at stake. However, I have consistently proven myself to be a natural leader, a fighter, and a hard worker. First off, I am a hugely successful entrepreneur. I studied at one of the best business schools in the world and have had over 40 years of professional business experience. Therefore, I have created thousands upon thousands of jobs, which I will continue to do in the White House. Also, because of my vast business knowledge, I will be able to effectively tackle the issue of ridiculously high student debt. I will ensure that colleges are held accountable by tying their success to your success. So, the only way your college can be successful is if you're successful. Secondly, and most importantly, I am anti-establishment. What this means is that I will fight for people who lack adequate representation in our government today, much like yourselves. I mean, let's face it. Rich and powerful people in this country hate me. Career politicians hate me. Even the rich in my own party hate me. My support comes from the common man and woman who have been constantly frustrated and let down with 8 years of a disastrous Obama administration. So, vote for Trump, and I will assure you that we will make America great again.
We can now take a few questions from the audience.
So you say your supporters are from the middle class, but what are you going to do to help them and make their lives easier?
Sit down.
So what I'm going to do is cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 15%. What this will do is it will create more jobs and more economic opportunities for the middle and lower class. Also, I will repeal Obamacare. Obamacare is a disaster right now, and the cost per family has increased $4,000. That's simply unacceptable. A lot of families cannot afford health care right now, but we're forcing them to pay it. What I want to do is privatize health care which will create more competition and bring the prices lower, because I want everyone to be able to afford health care. Thank you for your question.
We can take one more question for Donald Trump.
How do you plan to impact Muslim immigration into the United States? Impacting the Muslim immigration.
Well, I think members of the Islamic faith as a whole are good people. However, we do need to establish new screening procedures to make sure that terrorists do not come into our country in the first place. So, what we want to do is keep America safe, which I will touch upon in my later question. Thank you for your question.
Candidates, your second question. If elected, what would be the first problem you would try to solve after you've been inaugurated as president in January?
The foremost problem facing this country today is terrorism, mainly ISIS. The other candidates do not have a clue about foreign policy, much less on how to defeat radical Islamic terrorism. Hillary Clinton, as a senator, voted for the Iraq War, and along with President Obama, created the vacuum in which ISIS was able to grow in the first place. Gary Johnson doesn't know where Aleppo is, and when asked, can't even name a single world leader. How can we vote him to be our next president? Jill Stein said, we should combat ISIS with peace. A stupid and idiotic approach to a very serious situation. My plan, on the other hand, will involve common sense policy, including rebuilding our military and improving our intelligence and cyber capabilities. Not only will I make this country great, but I will also make America safe again. Thank you.
The first issue I'm going to tackle as President of the United States is decreasing unemployment and increasing the amount of good-paying jobs. President Obama has done a fair job of helping our nation's unemployment, which is currently at 4.9% after a recession. However, there's still a large issue with the amount of good-paying jobs that can support families and people on their own. I'm going to make the biggest investment in high-paying jobs since World War II. I'm launching a $20 billion initiative within my first 100 days, specifically for job creation. I will encourage small businesses and help all of the American people, especially young millennials who are having an issue entering the workforce. Get jobs.
If elected, my first point of order will be to implement the Green New Deal. This is a four-part program in moving America quickly out of a crisis and into a secure, sustainable future. This idea was inspired by the New Deal program, which helped us out of the Great Depression in the 1930s. The Green New Deal will provide similar relief, creating an economy in our communities that is sustainable, healthy, and just. Thus, the Green New Deal begins with an economic Bill of Rights that ensures citizens employment if qualified, livable wages, health care, and affordable housing. I will create millions of jobs by transitioning to 100% clean, renewable energy by 2030. Wars for oil will be made obsolete under my administration because there is simply no need in defending what we no longer need. Further, with my plan and the help of the federal government, we will have the financial means to raise the minimum wage. The changes I hope to put in place by being elected president will implement the American dream while enforcing a healthy environment. The biggest way people give up power is simply by not knowing they have it to start with. So take your power and vote Jill Stein as president. Thank you.
$51 billion is the amount of money that we spend on the war against drugs every year. $51 billion. My first action in office as President of the United States would be to legalize the use of marijuana for recreational use. 1 in every 111 adults in the United States are arrested and incarcerated for a misdemeanor marijuana law. We have the highest incarceration rate in the world. If we legalize marijuana, the incarceration rate will be driven down. 2,224,400 people every year are arrested for marijuana laws being broken. By legalizing marijuana, we are not only making our community and our prisons. By legalizing marijuana, we will be making our prisons more open so that we can hold real prisoners, not someone that broke a misdemeanor marijuana violation. Also, by legalizing marijuana, it's estimated that in California alone, it will raise $1.4 billion in taxes for that state. I will not put a tax on marijuana. However, it will be up to the state government, each and every state government, to impose a tax on marijuana, which will be a bigger income for your state and your cities to put towards you, the citizens of the United States of America. Thank you.
We'd now like to invite the vice presidential candidates to join their presidential candidates and introduce themselves.
Hello everyone, I am Governor Bill Weldon. I'm running for vice presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party.
Hello everyone, my name is John Baraka. I'm the vice presidential candidate for the Green Party.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kim Kane, and I'm the vice presidential candidate on behalf of the Democratic Party.
How you guys doing? I'm Mike Pence, and I'm the vice presidential candidate for the one and only Donald J. Trump.
We will now be taking questions from the audience for any candidate at this time. Please make sure that you're actually asking a question, and please do not ask follow-up questions. Questions for any candidate?
My question's for Jill Stein. You mentioned you had a 4-step plan to make our country environmentally friendly. What are those 4 steps and how do you expect to achieve them?
Okay, so my 4 steps do go into much detail, so I'm just going to sum this all up by saying that these 4 steps will preserve this nation to be beautiful for the next generations to come. We want to make this the absolute best outcome. And this, right now, what we have, we're in a state of crisis. We need to resolve these issues and create an environment that is beneficial to all.
Any more questions? Any questions for any candidate?
This question is for Mr. Trump. What are your thoughts on cybersecurity?
Well, cybersecurity in regards to terrorism is simply lacking. Right now, we are not able to find ISIS through the internet. Through my administration, we will begin measures to find the sources of ISIS through enhancing our technology capabilities and through the internet. Thank you for your question.
Any questions for Johnson or Clinton? Or any candidate?
My question is for Jill Stein. How do you plan on affording free public college as you'll just raise taxes and federal debt?
Okay, thank you for your question. As I mentioned in my speech, this will be the job for the Federal Reserve. We saw that they were able to bail out Wall Street at $17 trillion, and student debt in comparison is just 1.3, so the financial means are there to do this. Thank you for your question.
Clinton or Johnson?
This is to Gary Johnson. Previously, you didn't know where Aleppo was, but I'm hoping that you know where it is now. And now that you know where it is, how do you plan to deal with the humanitarian crisis that's there?
Well, Aleppo is Syria. It's Syria. How many of you knew where Aleppo was before today? Alright. None of you knew where Aleppo was. Anyway, how I would handle the humanitarian crisis in Aleppo. Well, what is going on in Syria alone is horrific and horrible. But I think that the way that President Obama is combating it right now, maybe the one only good thing that we've gotten out of the Obama administration is taking U.S. boots off the ground and imposing airstrikes instead to attack ISIS and these terror groups. However, in Syria, dealing with their revolutionary crisis, I do not believe in government intervention. So I believe that it should be handled by their government, but not by us, the United States of America. We have more important problems to solve at home, such as putting the money back into your pockets and cutting taxes.
I have a question for Gary Johnson. How can we elect a president that fakes heart attacks when cardiovascular diseases are the leading killer in the United States?
Well, my acting of a heart attack was not over a cardiovascular disease. However, it was to mock the woman's statistic that said that one in every 5. Excuse me, Mr. Trump, I don't walk into 14 to 19-year-old little girls' pageants while they're getting changed. However, to answer your question, I acted out a heart attack simply to say that it's unrealistic that within the first hour of someone smoking marijuana that they will have a heart attack. Does the chance increase? Possibly. But you know what? Drinking alcohol is more dangerous, if not completely and utterly worse than smoking marijuana. And that was purely to make a point. Thank you.
Are there questions for candidates other than Johnson?
So mine is for Hillary Clinton. So how can we have your terrible reputation after deleting the emails and your husband being impeached for cheating with Monica Lewinsky at the front of the USA and portraying us like that to the world?
Can you be a little more straightforward with your question?
How can we have someone with such a bad reputation at the forefront of our country?
Well, my bad reputation is subjective in your opinion. Now, with the things that you regarded my email scandal, yes, I'm under investigation now, but the FBI is going to find the same thing in this scandal that they did in the last one. Nothing. And talking about Bill Clinton and my personal life with him is irrelevant to this campaign and irrelevant to my presidency.
By the FBI finding nothing, did you mean the director of the FBI saying that they actually did find you guilty, but recommending that the state Justice Department not pursue action?
That was kind of
By not finding anything, did you mean when the FBI director came forward and said that they found you guilty, but did not recommend that the state Justice Department pursue?
You repeated the same question that you asked first, so the question is still...
You said they found nothing, but he found you guilty.
No.
We have time for one more question.
Mr. Trump, you highly criticized the other candidates' foreign policy experience. Yet, what foreign policy experience do you have in your 40 years of business?
As a businessman for 40 years, I have made incredible deals with other countries, such as Mexico and China. Also, I made deals with Saudi Arabia, people who are extremely hard to negotiate with. That is my foreign policy experience. I get along with other countries in a way that none of these other candidates will ever.
Since it is toward the end of the class period, I want to thank everyone for attending and remind you that you'll be voting in your class on Monday. And also, on your way out, if you see any garbage, you have to be behind your machine for the flag. Thank you.
Make America great again. Most importantly, don't forget to vote for Mayor Johnson. China.